Well, it's almost been another week before I get back on this thing. I finally am. I found the 1/8 inch fuel line to be able to replace the little bitty ones on the carburetors, and I got all the other fuel lines ready to go. So I'm fixing to plumb all those back in, and I'm just putting the old oil tank back in because it holds the water separator. So I have no choice to put it back in, otherwise fab up a bracket, which I don't have the time to do right now. But anyway, here's a little redneck way of keeping your oil sensor from going off. Since I'm switching from oil to premix, I'm actually using zip ties wrapped around this little deal, and I'm also going to cut those off here in a second. What that does is that keeps this little float from sliding down, and it will not ever register more than about half a tank. And because there's nothing in there, this is an empty tank, it can't eat the zip ties away or anything like that from petroleum distillates. But anyway, that's how I'm doing it. So I'm going to forward this, or I should say feed these back in here and fill up this tank and see if it fires. Alrighty, it is I guess ready for a startup. I put all the fuel lines in, routed everything to make sure it was, you got your vent on your vent, your return on your return, and I'd taken a few pictures of those so that way I'm able to find exactly, right where they go. I cleaned and lubricated the fuel selector switch, which you just has a little screw that you take out, and then you just basically grease it up with a little bit of Vaseline. I replaced all the fuel lines all the way up to here. I replaced the pulse line, so we're kind of ready for a startup here. So put the camera down and kind of see what's what. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you this, but down in here is your fuel separator, which is right here. As you're cranking it for the first time, you want to make sure that it is pumping and filling that up, so that way you're getting fuel pressure from or the fuel pump is pulling it. Now I've put 5 gallons of 40-to-1 in here, and I'm going to add about another ounce or 2 of oil because that's a new piston back there. You want it to be about 32-to-1 ratio as far as oil is concerned. Alright, sorry I had to start it off camera. I was having some problems with I forgot to choke it, so I was having some issues with fuel delivery. I couldn't figure out what it was. So once I choked it and got everything primed up, everything was perfectly fine. So now when you hit it, that's it. Didn't run it too long. You don't want to run these things too long without water on them. And I've got that jet ski right there. It has one of those little water nipples. So I'll put it on here and run it for a while, make sure everything's okay, but I just want to make sure we're good to go. Okay, so everything is good to go. Got everything back together. I guess now it's time for detail for retail. I think I'm going to go put this over my storage unit until springtime, because it's now Halloween and it's going to be 40 degrees tomorrow, so I don't think anybody's really going to be interested in buying one of these things in the winter time. And there's my phone. Okay, so where was I? Alright, so it's done. And a lesson learned. This has now been a month and a half, almost 2 months since I purchased this. And I blew it up because I didn't check the fuel system. That is a lesson to everyone in these Polaris models. Not just Polaris, anything. Yamaha, Sea-Doo, any of those guys. You need to make sure you go through the fuel system and replace everything. The diaphragms in this thing were shot. I had clogged fuel lines. It was really stupid of me to just take it out there without checking it. But you live, you learn, and it cost me some money. So hopefully I'll be able to make my money back out of this thing and move on. I should be okay. But other than that, it's done. I like the premix better than I like the mix. You have letting the engine mix it itself. To me, it's just this is good insurance to have it this way. Now I can't decide whether I like working on Fuji motors better or this new the domestic model. The Fuji's just, I don't know, for some reason make a little more sense to me, but there's also one more cylinder to deal with. I just don't know, and I think I'm probably going to scale down and give me a single trailer and keep my little purple one over there and just be happy with it. I can't really decide yet. For sure going to sell that one and send it on its way. It has been the bane of my existence. And I'll tell you, working around that fender right there See, most of the trailers have little fenders and you can kind of, you know, jockey around them and work pretty easy. Not that son of a bitch, man. I tell you, everywhere you need to go, you're always banging your kneecap into that or your calf into over there. It just doesn't make sense where it is. And so anyway, I'll be happy to see this thing go away.